The glistening white files under the pale moonlight glared back at me, keeping me awake more nights than not. I'd handled my share of heavy cases before, but this one, I felt like a prairie dog in a sinkhole, with no beckoning light at the bottom of the pit. The more I uncovered, the deeper I went, the less information I found. Like the core mechanics of a Castlevania game, I'd tread the same tracks through this case over and over, trying to glean any new details. But I wasn't in the whimsical castle of Dracula. I was in a twisted maze of caves, with nothing but the flicker of a lighter to guide me, and the wicks burning out fast. What I thought was a clear-cut case of 2-bit fraud turned out to be the most complicated case I'd ever covered. A cocktail of lies, foreign blockchains, SOC corporations, and NFT rug pulling strong enough to knock a bull on its ass. It's a dangerous time for video games, one that's meant to service up a 4-course meal of empty fine china and give compliments to the non-existent chef. The game might seem over now, but in reality, it's only just begun. But what do I know? I'm just the gamer.
So about a month ago, the Game Awards wrapped up, and it was surprisingly a very good show. We got some banger announcements like Project Century, Elden Ring Night Reign, The Witcher 4. Like really, this was one of the best Game Awards in years. I mean, there is something for everyone to be excited about. But as we all know, the Game Awards is highly commercialized, and old big boss Jeff Keighley will take money from anyone, right, to pay for the Game Awards, no matter how dubious the source is. And so about halfway through the show, a game known as Catly was shown on stage. A strange, pastel-colored cinematic trailer with no real gameplay, no release date, and there wasn't even a developer attached to it. For such a fantastic showcase, it stuck out like a sore thumb as being one of the weirdest announcements in Video Game Awards history. Like, everyone was like, what the fuck is this game? And so the first thing a lot of people notice about this game is that it looks a lot like generative AI art. The texture smoothing and the uncanny color palette, it just looks like it was ripped straight from Midjourney, right? But in fairness, I put the promotional images into an AI image detector and it said it wasn't AI. So I'm gonna take the word for it there. Even though the trailer looked really AI, still even to this day, there's no AI video maker that can make something that smooth. It's just a very weird trailer, and it's almost like it's trying to emulate AI in a way. And you know, this did trigger a lot of people, myself included, to do some research on this game and figure out what the hell is this and where is it coming from. And almost nothing came of it. I mean, it's a barren wasteland of information about this game. And for a game being on, you know, the biggest stage in gaming right now, you would think that the developer would want their name plastered everywhere, right? Like, you would think there would want to be promotional images and interviews, get the developer's name out there, get the website out there, but there's none of that going on with this game. And you know, the more digging I did, the deeper I went down this rabbit hole, I realized the reason why the developers are holding their cards so close to their chest is because there's some pretty sinister stuff going on beneath the surface. And what better place to start than, obviously, the developer. So, who exactly is a developer? Well, they're only known as Super Authentic, which, you know, sounds like a pretty super authentic name, doesn't it? So they have no games on Steam right now that's been developed. So this is technically their first game. How the hell were they able to scrap up that much money to get on to the Game Award stage? Now, I couldn't actually find the name Super Authentic anywhere. I had to look up Catly on the US trademark search. And what that led to was Super Authentic. Okay, now the Super Authentic trademark was made September 18th, 2023 and approved just this September 10th, 2024. So the brand is really only about a year old. And right now, it's important to note that Catly trademark is actually suspended right now due to foreign licensing issues. Foreign where exactly? China. So I went to go look up the name of who actually owns Super Authentic, and I came across a guy named Kevin Young. Now, we'll get back to him later. First, I want to talk about who their parent company is, because every developer needs a parent company, right? And just who exactly is that? Well, the company that filed the trademark for Super Authentic is known as 10HK Management. Now, 10HK Management has published or trademarked at least 2 games in the past. A game known as Alien Meow in a game known as Mech Angel. Now these games have been almost completely wiped from the internet, aside from a couple of articles, the biggest one being VentureBeat in 2022, that describes just what Alien Meow and Mech Angel is. We'll leave Alien Meow alone. For now, I want to focus on Mech Angel. And from the words of VentureBeat, Mech Angel is described as the animated world similar to Genshin Impact's anime style. It features young women fighting Japanese-style mech robots. The game has a player versus environment shooting gameplay and is friendly for onboarding new players. And it will have player versus player gameplay as well. The company is completing a funding round for these titles and is developing in-game wallets, an NFT marketplace, virtual assets, and more in the second half of the year. So there's a couple things we learned from the article. We learned that Mech Angel is developed by 10th Planet. I couldn't really find much for them, but I did find their old GitHub page via the Wayback Machine. A virtual production house building games designed to revolutionize the GameFi industry. Our games have been designed with the core objective of making the player experience as seamless as possible, while still retaining all the fundamental benefits that blockchain gaming has to offer. And like I said, this game has been completely scrubbed from the internet. I can't find it anywhere. If you look up the game literally just doesn't exist. So that's the first game to come from this weird studio, Mech Angel, right? Now the second game they have made is called Alien Meow, and this one is pretty weird. Now Alien Meow is described as a digital cat breeding game being built with Epic Games' Unreal Engine 5. It's a virtual pet game that allows gamers to try to generate in-game value from breeding, much like CryptoKitties. It's described as a vast open playground that could be home to any kind of pet in the galaxy, where players can collect, breed, upgrade, train, tame, and enter competitive mini-games with their new furry companions in the most fun and rewarding metaverse experience ever, where Nintendog meets Pokemon. Now, this game sounds pretty damn familiar, doesn't it? Almost exactly like Catly. And once again, like Mech Angel, Alien Meow has been almost completely scrubbed from the internet. And it's also important to note that both of the trademark filings are completely dead and abandoned, which means that most likely 10th Planet and 10HK have completely given up on both projects. Now, here's where it starts to get interesting, because you know who formerly owned 10th Planet, and you know who now owns Super Authentic? Mr. Kevin Young. So we've established a solid connection between crypto, 10th Planet, Super Authentic, and Kevin Young, right? All just by information from 10HK. And by the way, I didn't go into some deep dark web shit to find any of this information. I found it all on the open web and a couple of Reddit threads, which I'll link in the comments. And so we've established now that Kevin Young has had his hands pretty deep into some crypto, Web3, blockchain development. Then now that doesn't necessarily conclude that Catly will be a blockchain NFT game. We've just established that the director of it has his hand deep in NFT gaming. And you know, Super Authentic and Catly has already came out after the Game Awards, kind of tamper the fire and say, hey, we're not doing crypto, we're not doing NFTs or anything like that. This is just gonna be a strict Unreal 5 multiplayer game. And we haven't proven yet that Super Authentic is an NFT developer, and we haven't proven that Catly is an NFT game. But what if I told you that Super Authentic has already tried to make some NFT games? Now I know what you're gonna say. Super Authentic, Catly is their first game. No, my friend. This was under a SOC corporation. Let's dig deeper. Now, as I said, I found this from a Reddit thread by the user Nat-Kim. So take this with a grain of salt, but from the cross-referencing, at least that I could do, it's pretty solid information. Now, before Catly, there was a game called Plantly, okay, by the company Shanghai Binmao Technology Company Limited. Now, much like Mech Angel and Alien Meow and pretty much everything that Kevin Young has had his hand in, Plantly has been completely scrubbed from the internet with no information on it whatsoever. The only place you can find it, once again, is on that mobile game archive website. But what it describes is you're basically just taking care of NFT plants. It says in the description, your plants are not just digital tokens, but emotional mementos. Share the joy of growing plants with the loved ones and embark on a calming, nurturing journey together. Now, the website 80 Level actually took this information from the Reddit thread, and they used, their background knowledge and stuff to actually find a shareholder website in China that people in the US can't access. They searched up Shanghai Binmao Technology, and they found that the sole shareholder of Shanghai Binmao Technology is Super Authentic. Now, I can't speak to if Plantly ever came out. If it's on the mobile game archiver, that means it had to have had some type of development and some type of release at some point. But what Plantly sounds like to me is a clear-cut case of an NFT rug pull under the SOC corporation Shanghai Binmao, owned by Super Authentic. Now that's just speculative, okay? But we do know for an absolute fact that Super Authentic has had their hands directly in NFT gaming with Shanghai Bin Mao, whether it's a rug pull or not. So we've connected all the dots, you know, we put this big ass ball of NFT crypto bullshit yarn together, right? And we've established that 1-0 owns all these companies. You know, Kevin Young is the creator of these two companies. And Catley, what it looks like is that it has NFT gaming written all over it, right? Despite what the PR says. But all this just stems back to the one big question that we all asked on that fateful Thursday evening in December. How the hell did this random shady developer manage to scrape up enough money to sneak its way into a Game Awards ad slot? Well, I wouldn't be asking that question if it didn't go even deeper. Because as it seems, Super Authentic, yes, it was created by 1-0 management, but they are funded by the Griffin Gaming Partners, an American video game investment firm that is deep into blockchain technology. And before you go thinking, you know, oh, Griffin Gaming Partners, that's probably just a couple of nerds with a lot of money that want to scam people out of crypto. No, they have testimonials from John Riccitiello, who is the former CEO of Unity, Sarah Bond, the VP of Xbox. These aren't small fish we're talking about here. These are some of the biggest names not only in video games, but in business. And most importantly of all, Felicia Day, who has direct ties to Jeff Keighley. But you know what gets even more interesting about Griffin Gaming Partners is that around the time they started to get deep into blockchain is around the time that Kevin Young started to make the rounds with his video games. Here's an article from 2022 that states Griffin Gaming Partners' intent to get into blockchain gaming. Griffin Gaming Partners raises $750 million with eyes on Web3. Web3 is one of our central theses from a macro perspective within games. It's our view that the involvement of digital asset ownership within games may be the single most important technological unlock in the history of games. So it seems to me like in 2022, Griffin Gaming Partners went all in on blockchain tech, right? And they wanted to find some upstart companies that had experience in Web3 blockchain development. And they had their eyes on this guy, Kevin Young. And they said, hey, Kevin Young, you're pretty good at this shit. You know how to do NFTs and blockchains. Why don't you start a developer with us? Use 1-0 Management to trademark a game company for us, and we'll give you a fuck ton of money to develop some games. Oh, hey, I see here you're already developing one called Alien Meow. Wow, that looks like we can squeeze as much money out of our customers as possible. Let's rename it Catley, put it on the Game Awards, we'll use Felicia Day as a sponsor to get it on there. Boom, bam, done. Everyone is confused and no one wants to play this game. And not only that, Kevin Young, we'll also sponsor Ninja and Pokimane, some of the biggest streamers in the world, to be artificially excited about this piece of shit because we want as many people to play it and squeeze as much money out of them as humanly possible. So we've just gone down this massive rabbit hole, right? And we've proven, at least circumstantially, that Catley has NFT writings all over it. Kevin Young has a deep, deep history of blockchain technology in video games, as well as everyone above him that's giving him money. There's numerous name changes, SOC corporations, and old developers that just fail and just get wiped from the internet completely in an attempt to cover up their past as much as humanly possible. Now, as I said, this is all just speculation, of course. You know, I don't have any idea what's going on with Catley or Kevin Young. This is just me putting the piece together and speculating upon it. But my personal conspiracy is that Catley is just a reskinned Alien Meow. That was definitely 101,000,000% going to be a blockchain game. They put a trailer up on the Game Awards to be as vague as possible, so when the game comes out, you know, they'll trick people into getting into NFT bullshit so they can just rake in all this dough, right? But after the extreme backlash that they got from this shitty ass trailer and the digging that everyone did for this game, you know, Griffin Gaming Partners Super Authentic realized, oh shit, people actually hate NFT and blockchain stuff. We missed the boat on it. No one wants this fucking bullshit. So they scrambled, you know, to say, oh, this actually isn't an NFT game. This is actually just a regular Unreal 5 multiplayer game, yada, yada, yada. And now they're panicking to try and switch course. But thankfully, most of the game doesn't even exist. And it's mostly just a concept at this point. Because a couple days after the Game Awards, they actually released gameplay in Unreal 5. The gameplay footage is clearly just, you know, slapped together Unreal 5 slop. that you can pay a 17-year-old to do and he'll have it done in 3 weeks. Like it looks that bad. From what I read, the cats in the game have the dog walking animations because there's no like preset cat walking animations in Unreal 5, so they just threw that in and figured, hey, no one will notice. No one. They're too stupid. They're not gonna know. I mean, it's got all the trappings for NFT nonsense, right? Like you can purchase hats and fucking sweaters for your cat. It's kind of like PlayStation Home. You guys remember PlayStation Home, where you can like kind of build up your little apartment and go out and hang out in the world? It's kind of like that, except everything in the world that you buy, including the stuff for your cat, was all going to be digitally owned through the blockchain, and you had to spend a bunch of money on it. I think Griffin Gaming Partners got in way over their head with this one. You know, they poured $750 million and they were like, well, we gotta get our money back somehow. Oh man, we dumped so much money into this game. You know, we have to do something with it that relates to blockchain. I mean, you know, the 12-year-olds gotta steal their parents' credit cards and buy a fucking cat sweater. We have to make our money back on this, because venture capitalist firms like Griffin Gaming Partners are completely fucking out of touch with what players want. Turns out you can't go on the biggest gaming stage on the world and show off this fucking pay-to-play blockchain, earn your credits, NFT, mobile dog shit on a AAA level and expect people to be happy about it. They showed off a concept of a game with nothing actually behind it. The backlash was completely insane, so they had to slap something together real quick, say, oh no, it's not an NFT game, no, and just fucking pivot hard in direction. And you know, before you say like, oh Dylan, it's not that easy to just, you know, completely change a game's development. Changing microtransactions in a game, you know, whether taking it out or putting it in, it's not uncommon to happen like at the very last second. I think of Marvel's Avengers as a game that was not supposed to have any type of like microtransactions, live service or anything. And then Square Enix, you know, just kind of slid that in there at the very last second and said, okay, you know, this is a microtransaction live service game now. And the game suffered greatly because of it. So the plan for NFTs being taken out of Catly before the game actually even has any real gameplay associated with it is not a far-fetched idea. You know, so we're wrapping up here. You know, we've done our whole conspiracy board shit, but in my opinion, the real story here is that gaming news and influencers and promoters are gonna start getting shadier than ever. With the fall of legacy media sites like IGN, GameSpot, influencers and YouTubers are rising to the top. And you know, to be fair, there's a lot of good in that, right? Reviews feel way more objective because there's not this buddy-buddy relationship between the company and the developer anymore. But you know, there's also a downside to this. The fact that there's personalities and influencers that will just shovel dog shit, scammy NFT rug pull bullshit to you just to line their pockets, no matter how dubious of a source that money's coming from. Like I said, some of the biggest influencers in the world, like Ninja and Pokimane, were actively promoting this day. Felicia Day is still making fucking TikToks about this game to this day. It's been like a month.
As a cat lover myself, I'd like to take a closer look at that gorgeous game, Catly, which just appeared on the Game Awards as a showcase game.
And they're all promoting this game, and it has actually no gameplay whatsoever. So, you know, when you see people like Pokimane going, oh my god, this game looks so cute, it's like, you're lying. You're obviously paid off and you're lying. This is a fucking cinematic, 2-minute cinematic trailer. With the rise of influencers, there's a critical lack of source vetting now. Because, you know, they don't have like this crazy corporation with the biggest legal team above them, right? They have a manager and maybe an attorney, and that's it. So when they get this money from these dubious ass sources or these shady companies, they'll say, oh, fucking $10 million just to tweet 3 things about this game? Fuck yeah, I'll do it, whatever, you know? And then that's what happens, is that you get shoveled this dog shit. Pokimane even apologized for promoting this game, stating she needs to vet her sources better before taking sponsorships. There's even just a self-awareness there of taking money without knowing who it's coming from, right? Just as long as you're getting that money, I'll sponsor whoever. Sites like IGN, you know, they were getting endemic advertising, right? So there was kind of like, you know, you might have been sugared up to give this a better review. But under no fucking circumstance whatsoever would IGN ever take a sponsorship as shady as Catly, no matter how much money was involved in it. That is the critical difference that we need to look out for now that we've shifted from traditional journalism to influencer-based games journalism. We're entering a new territory of journalism that really has never been seen before with the rise of influencer-based journalism. And with that really comes its own unique set of problems. Problems that, quite frankly, I don't think we're equipped to handle yet. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.